Wes was a very dominant, centre back. He was really, really good in the air, powerful. And I said, how we were actually both injured at the time, and we were doing like a bit of a defending, heading session. Getting your feet working and heading the ball. I was like, Wes, every time I go up for a challenge, the forward, how do you always manage to seem to dominate? And he just gave me a little pointer at the time about, having contact with the striker, and almost before the striker, or as the attacking team are about to play the ball, making sure you give the striker a little nudge just to take him off balance. And it's something that's always stuck with me as well. So these were the little kind of key details that they might not look big at the time, but I've managed to sort of try and take them with me throughout my career. And that'd be something I'd be quite obsessive with now, with heading the ball, making sure I've always got contact with the striker as soon as the opposition's about to play the ball forward. And there's plenty more. Nemanja Vidic was another one for his body position. Didn't stop moving his body position. I remember actually I wasn't playing in the game, and I was watching him from behind the goal, which is always a good angle to watch for defenders and how they're sort of moving across the pitch. And I was in the Stretford end at the time, and just watching Nemanja, sort of the way he moved it, he was moving his body like every 2-3 seconds, maybe even quicker than that. And that's something that really struck with me, that he would never allow himself to be, square to the play at any time. I think now, when, especially going into games, the amount of games on TV, especially in the Premier League, you know what every forward's got in their locker. You watched them so many times. So I think as I've got older, and it's something that I probably tried to take out of my game, was probably not adjusting to the centre forward or the attacker as much as maybe what I did do in the past. And I think, like I said before, I was never going to be, have the attributes of Nemanja in the air, Rio's, unbelievable pace. So I wanted to get myself into a mindset where it didn't matter what striker I was playing against, I would defend them all in the same way. And that's something that I've always, sort of tried to do, so that my game wasn't changing from week to week. I always had a consistency to my game. And, for example, now I would never sort of watch a clip of a striker or an attacker before the game. I know a lot of players do that and like to do it. I still see some of my teammates doing that. But I've always felt that if I was to watch clips of an attacker that I'm about to play against before the game, it might change my thought process in the game.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, we're going to show a clip now. Maybe, we have a look at it and then talk us through maybe some of the key things. Just a short clip that emphasise what we just said.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have a look at it.
Yeah, so obviously it's down our right side, and I'm playing right centre back at that point. So as our right back's gone forward to take a throw in, I'm probably not too far out of the screen, even at this moment in time. Giving a support for a pass. And then I'm in that position to get enough contact where he can, set the play. And obviously he takes another touch here, and I'm close enough to be able to get more contact. My other centre back, the left centre backs, it's very important that, you have good sort of balance to, he's very important to allow me to have confidence to go tight, where he's in a position to cover, or at least be, even in that position, he can maybe even be five yards higher with me to give me even more confidence. But it was a pretty simple situation where I'm happy to be able to deal with that.
Just about, so your body orientation as it comes in, you're obviously there, but then you change here, don't you?
Yeah. I think in that scenario, you'd always want to be side on initially. I'm sure at this moment in time, I'm probably side on when the ball goes to get cleared. But I've had to adjust to get my right foot as it's on that side, and then obviously going forward on my left foot.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful nowadays. Forwards are going down all the time, that you don't give them a chance to get a foul.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to allow them easy relief of pressure, and a lot of the times, I think a big key to that is being tighter than what you would think. It's actually, you're more likely to give a foul away if you're initially a little bit off the striker, as opposed to being tight with him initially, because it's sort of that if you're maybe 5 or 10 yards off and you have to go forward, he's not feeling you at the start, and as soon as he feels contact, he'll go down. So you're better sort of being in a position where you can, have contact on him straight away.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's really interesting, that, Jonny, because it used to be saying don't get too tight. Probably years ago when you were probably growing up in the youth team, maybe, or coming through. Now, obviously, through your experience and the way the game's changed, you're saying you're actually better getting tighter for that.
Totally. I'd actually rather maybe be alongside him than 5 yards behind him. Purely for that reason. If you're 5 yards in the ball, if you're 5 yards away and the ball gets cleared, you're in a bit of a position where, do I go forward or do I not? I think it's always easier if you're tighter, you can always have the intention to go backwards rather than have the option forward or backwards, where it can create indecision. So the tighter you are at the start, you've always got the ability to go back and recover.
Would that depend on the opponent? If it was someone like a bigger striker who you knew probably wasn't going to run you, or if it was someone who was particularly quick, maybe you might look to run in behind?
Like I say, I think I would always try and eradicate that by hoping that your position was good enough, no matter what striker it was. Obviously, if it's a big striker, he's not going to try and run you anyway, so you can squeeze it. But I think the most important thing for me in that situation would be to try and keep it as squeezed as possible, so that the ball into him is more. I'm actually giving my midfielders a chance to recover, to help. Well, if I'm a bit deeper and a bit further, I'm taking them out of the game by being too far away.
Yeah. It's all that balance, isn't it, that you're talking about before? How far away is the defender? How close are you to the midfield players? So yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah,
well, like I said, Vidic was one of the first people I really noticed doing it, and it became something that I became sort of obsessed with over the years, and still think about it every single day. As soon as the ball changes, the ball can go left or right, and from someone passing the ball, it can change your body position just so quickly. And maybe it becomes, quite natural to me now, but I probably do change my body shape a lot throughout a game. Well, I think a lot of that stuff helped me, definitely. But I played a lot of fullback in my career, especially, at West Brom. I played, right across the back four, and a lot of that stuff, that 1v1 defending, was so valuable to me, and when I was able to go out in those positions. And it definitely helped me going back into centre back if I was ever playing full back, and being able to defend in a 1v1 position. When I was able to go back into centre back, I felt so much more confident in those scenarios. Like I say, I think it's always important to be going back, especially you're playing against Liverpool there and quick players. But we were just talking there, Paul, about the decision to sort of step up is probably dictated because I'm the last man, and I kind of once Salah passes it into Firmino, that's my moment when they've got a bit of pressure on the ball, and their heads are down. That I can, when the opposition's got their heads down, it's the easiest time for a defender to be able to make moves, to try and maybe step up or try and read the play. It's much easier. So in that instance, it's quite an easy decision. And a lot of the times defenders, maybe it's your inclination to go back, but sometimes it's always better to go forward. Well, this is with the back in when I was growing up, a lot of your body position stuff was always trying to be open. And I think that's changed a little bit in my sort of thinking, especially if you're a front post defender. You actually you don't want to open up too much because you don't want to get distracted by anything behind you, and you want your body position almost sort of solely focused on that, what's in front of you, and not what's off your shoulder. If you're maybe the second defender who's maybe in the middle of the goal, and you've got confidence that your other defender is blocking the front post, I think that's the guy that can maybe be a little bit more open and can be a bit more searching for getting tight. Yeah. If you're a post defender for example, if I'm a left centre back and it's coming down our left side, I would probably try and keep my body closed and not worry about behind me, because I think as you open up, that's the moment where centre forwards are wanting to come across you.
Mm-hmm.
And also for your clearances, if you get a clearance and your body's facing maybe in an open position, you end up swinging at things and you're not in the right position to clear the ball. Do a lot of footwork stuff, you know. And I can remember one of the fitness coaches actually at Tony Strudwick, he had some footwork stuff from a basketball coach about how they move and pivot on their feet, and he used to get myself and a few of the other boys doing, you know, different little turning movements where it was really, really helpful, and I still use it now when I'm defending. Just being able to sort of pivot off your feet and a bit different to what we had been doing before, and it's so vital that being able to turn your body shape from facing one side to get it almost 180 degrees round where you're actually facing the other in a split second.